Good day, everyone. So, this is Module 2, Part 2. We're going to talk about some fundamentals of logic. So, in this lesson, we're going to tackle these topics. Number 1, proposition and the truth table. Number 2, negation and logical connectives. Number 3, converse, inverse, contrapositive, and quantifiers. And Part 4 is performance task via quizzes. Okay, so before we proceed to our lesson proper, let's find out what's the solution for this problem. How will you boil a duck's egg in exactly 15 minutes if the only timer available is an 11-minute hourglass and a 7-minute hourglass? Okay, so I will give you 2 minutes to think before I tell you the solution. Okay, time's up. Let's proceed now to the solution. Okay, so here's the solution to that problem. Number 1, boil enough amount of water to cook 1 egg. Of course, magpapakulo muna tayo ng tubig. Number 2, if we start the 2 hourglasses together, so by the time the 7-minute hourglass is over, there is a remaining 4 minute in the 11-minute hourglass, diba? So that's the time you put the egg in boiling water. Then, when the remaining 4 minutes in the big hourglass is consumed, turn it over. Then wait until the 11-minute hourglass is consumed. So that would be 4 plus 11 equals 15. So that's at the time you turn off the stove, then your duck's egg is cooked for exactly 15 minutes. Did we have the same answer? Or did we have the same solution? So this problem is an example of mathematical logic. So we use common sense and simple mathematical logic to have a solution. Okay, so let's talk about logic. Logic deals with the scientific method of judging the truth or falsity of statements. Mathematics is a body of statements or mathematical sentences. Symbolic language is important in understanding mathematics as a logical system. So, like yung mga topic natin last, yung Module 1, Part 1, we are talking about mathematical sentences and how do we write them in symbolic form. So, that's why here in logic, since it's the basis of all mathematical reasoning, we need to learn about symbolic languages regarding, involving logic. Proposition. Proposition is a statement which is either true or false, but cannot be both. So, proposition, this is a declarative statement. So, which is either true, pwede siyang maging true, pwede rin siyang maging false, but it can never be both. Okay? So, how do we write proposition? For example, we have proposition P. So, these are examples of proposition. This A, B, C, and D. So, we have proposition P. 9 is a prime number. If we have other propositions, for example, we have Q proposition. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then, if we have more propositions, we write it as R. Then, x squared plus y squared equals, or is greater than or equal to 0. And then, if we have more, let's write it as S. 10 is less than negative 3. So, that's how we write a proposition. For example, proposition P, if we have proposition P, it means this is the statement. Q, 5 plus 3 equals 3, that's the statement. Then R, and then this is the statement of proposition R, and S, this is the statement of proposition S. Get it? Okay, so example 1, each of the following statements is a proposition. Some are true and some are false. Can you tell which are true and which are false? If it is false, state why. So we have A. 9 is a prime number. Can you tell if this is true or false? Okay, so this statement is false. Why? Because prime number or prime numbers are numbers that has a factor of itself and 1 only. For example, we have 2 is an example of a prime number because 2 has a factor of itself and 1 only. So 2 times 1 is equal to 2. There's no other factors. But 9 has another factor which is 3 times 3. That's why it's false. Then letter B, 5 plus 3 equals 8. What do you think? Is this true or false? This is true. So you can see if you add 5 and 3, the answer is 8. That's why it's true. Next, we have x squared plus y squared is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so this statement is also true. Letter D, we have 10 is less than negative 3. This is false. So you can see 10 is greater than 3. Should be written as like this. I mean 10 is greater than negative 3. Okay, like the definition, proposition is a statement that you can tell either a statement is true or false. So now, let's determine whether each sentence is a proposition or not. Number 1. Leonardo da Vinci painted Mona Lisa. Do you think this is a proposition or not? Okay, so this is a proposition because we can tell that this is true. Number 2, 13 is a prime number. This is also a proposition. Like the example earlier, 9 is a prime number, so This time it's 13 is a prime number. And this is also true because 13 has no other factor other than itself and 1. Number 3, thank you. Is this a proposition or not? This is not a proposition because selling gratitude, so, statement of gratitude. So you cannot tell if this is true or false. Number 4, how are you? This is not a proposition because this is an interrogative sentence. It's a question. Number 5, open the door. This is not a proposition because it's an imperative sentence. It's commanding, not declarative. Number 6, online learning is exciting. Is this a proposition or not? This is a proposition. Okay, next, let's talk about the truth table. A truth table is a table that shows the truth value of a compound statements for all possible truth values of each simple statements. So I'll show you an example on the next slide. But first, let's talk about negation. A statement is a negation of another if the word is not introduced in the negative statement. A negative statement is like saying, I don't like. It's like saying the don't words. That's a negative statement, not like that. So that's example of a negative statement. So, let P be the proposition. The negation of P is not P or not P. This is read as not P. Sometimes there is another sign for not P, which is this one, tilde P. This is the sign, the tilde sign. You can say tilde P or simply read it as not P. Okay, let's have an example. For example, we have the P, proposition P. I like cats. Not P is I don't like cats. So, do you see the difference? The word don't negates the proposition I like cats. Another example. We have proposition R. It is raining. If we negate that statement, not R, will be it is not raining. Do you see the difference? So that's negation. You negate the original proposition. Okay, so another example, if we have the proposition is she is tall. If we negate that statement, we can say she is not tall. Or we can also say the negation of that proposition, she is short. You understand? It's like we can say the antonym of this word to negate the sentence. Okay? Okay, so now let's talk about the truth table regarding negation. So for example, we have the proposition here. Proposition, we have true, right? T for true. And if we negate that proposition, not P, we can say that it's not true. Or simply, we can say that it's false, right? And we have the other proposition F, or false. We can say that if we negate that proposition, we can say it's not false. Or simply we can say it's true. So this is an example of truth table. Means we can um, detect or determine the truth values on in terms of true or false proposition. Okay, so let's have another example. What is the negation of the following statements? A. Proposition p squared of 2 is a rational number. So what is the negation of p? Negation of p would be square root of 2 is not a rational number. We can also say that not p, the negation of p would be square root of 2 is an irrational number. Since the opposite of rational is irrational. So let's proceed to letter B. We have the proposition R. 6 is an odd number. So what is the negation of R? 6 is not an odd number. Or we can also say, what's the opposite of odd? So the negation of R, 6 is an even number. Do you get it? Okay, next, let's talk about logical connectives. What is it? Let P and Q be propositions. A logical connective is the mathematical equivalent of a conjunction in English. The most common conjunctions in mathematics are and or, which are denoted by and or respectively. So this sign is read as and this sign is read as or. So it looks like A but without the line in the middle. This is and looks like letter V. This is or. The conjunction, this sign is also called as conjunction. And this sign is also called disjunction. Okay, so let's have an example. For example, we have the proposition P. I like cats. Then we have the proposition Q. I like dogs. So if we're going to make a statement P and Q, we can say I like cats and I like dogs. Or we can simply say I like cats or dogs. In and I like cats and dogs. So if we're going to make a a statement P or Q, we can say I like cats or dogs. Or we can say I like cats or I like dogs. So if two statements are joined like P and Q denoted by P and Q, then P and Q is a statement that is true if and only if both P and Q are true. So which means P and Q
can only be true statement if the proposition is true, proposition P is true, and the proposition Q is true. So the statement will be true. And another logical connective is the word or. The statement P or Q is true if and only if P is true or Q is true, which is taken to include the case when they are both true. Which means for P or Q can be P is true. For example, if the proposition P is true and Q is false, the statement will be true, and vice versa. The following is the truth table for logical connectives. So, for example, we have four pairs of proposition. So, the first proposition is F. Q proposition is F, which means false. So, if we make a statement, make a P and Q, the statement will be false. And if it's P or Q, it will be false because based on the definition earlier, P and Q, both proposition should be true. And for P or Q, only one should be true. I mean, one or more should be true. Okay, so the next one we have the proposition P is false, proposition Q is true. P and Q will be false. P or Q is true because there's one true here. Third proposition, third pair. First proposition is true, second one is false. P and Q is still false because it should be both true. So there's only one. So if there's only one, P or Q is true. So these are the true values. Then the fourth one, we have true, then Q proposition is true, P and Q is true because they are both true. And P or Q is also true. So take note, we already learned negation and then or. Now let's go to implications. What is it? Suppose P and Q are propositions. The proposition if P then Q, so this is read as if P then Q. You can write it like this. If P then Q. It is called an implications, or we can say conditional proposition, conditional statements. So P is called the premise and Q is called the conclusion. In ordinary language, like for example, we have the proposition P, it rains. And then we have the proposition Q, I bring my umbrella. So if we're going to make an implication, which is this one, so we will write if it rains, then I bring my umbrella. So this is the first proposition. See, that's P. So not this one. It rains. So if and then P, which is it rains, then the Q proposition, which is I bring my umbrella. So if P then Q is the statement, so the statement is if it rains, then I bring my umbrella. Okay, so let's have another example. For example, we have the proposition P. The road is wet. Then Q. It has rained. So if we're going to make an implication, if P, then Q. So let's write it. If, then what's P? The road is wet. So if the road is wet, then proposition Q, it has rained. Other ways of reading if P then Q are P implies Q, Q if P, Q is implied by P, Q only if P. So a more complicated form of implication is the by implication or the biconditional. It is denoted by the symbol, this one, and can be read as if and only if. So the statement P if and only if Q is true if and only if both P and Q are either both true or both false. So the statement P if and only if Q is equivalent to the statement P if and only if is equal to if P then Q and if Q then P. So let's have an example. So we have P, the road is wet. Then we have Q, it has rained. So let's prove if this statement, if the biconditional statement will be true using this one. So for example, we have if P then Q, if the road is wet, then it has rained. So do you think this statement is true? Yes, so this is true. So we'll make a statement if Q then P. So if it has rained, then the road is wet. So do you think this statement is true? Yes, this is true as well. So if we're going to make by conditional, P if and only if Q, we can say the road is wet if and only if it has rained. And since both statement of this one and this one are true, this statement is true based on the definition. So, biconditional is often stated as P if and only if Q. P is necessary and sufficient for Q. So it says here, construct the truth table for the logical operators if and only if, and check that indeed it is equivalent to P if P then Q and if Q then P. So like what we did earlier, so that's like this one. but not we didn't construct a truth table. Okay, so let's have an example. Transforming an English sentence into symbolic form of logic. So we already talked about negation and conjunction, disjunction, conditional, so if and then biconditional, if and only if. So write the following in symbolic form using P, Q, and R for statements and the symbols not, and, or, if, then, if and only if. Where P proposition it is President Marcos is a good president. Q proposition, government officials are corrupt. R, people are happy. For example, we have letter A. So, if President Marcos is a good president, then the government officials are corrupt. So, this is statement. So, you can see this is P. See, President Marcos is a good president. Then, government officials are not corrupt. That is Q. But, as you can see, the original statement is government officials are corrupt. Then, this is a negation because it's for the word not. Then, let's use if and then arrow to the right. So, this can be written as P. If P, then not Q. Okay, let's try letter B. If government officials are not corrupt, then the people are happy. So government officials are not corrupt, so that is not Q. The people are happy. That's R. Then we'll write if and then arrow to the right. So this can be read as if not Q, then R. Let's proceed to letter C. If President Marcos is a good president and the people are happy, then government officials are not corrupt. So again, President Marcos is a good president, that is P. Then the word and, that's this sign. People are happy, R. Then, if and then, so government officials are not corrupt. That's not Q. So if we write the symbolic form, P, if P and R, then not Q. We can write like this. Or we can also write with the parenthesis, not Q. Like that. Letter D. President Marcos is not a good president if and only if government officials are corrupt and the people are not happy. So that's President Marcos is not a good president. So there's the word not. It means that's negation of P. Then if and only if, this sign, government officials are corrupt. So that's Q. Okay? And the people are not happy. It means that's negation of R. Okay? Now let's talk about converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Suppose P and Q are propositions. Given the implication if P then Q, its converse is if Q then P. Its inverse is if not P then not Q. And its contrapositive is if not Q then not P. So given the implication, so like this, if P then Q, Inverse is if not P, then not Q. So this sign. Converse, if Q, then P. Parang binaliktad lang tong given. Ito. If Q, then P. Then contrapositive, if not Q, then not P. You have to put not the negation. You negate both of them. Okay. So the following is the truth table of the inverse, converse, and contrapositive. So this is the conditional or implication. Truth table for implication. So if if the P proposition is false and the Q proposition is false, the implication if P then Q will be true. Kasi yung definition earlier, kapag implication, pwedeng both true or both false. The implication will be true. Okay? And if hindi naman sila parehong true or false, we will base it on the conclusion, which is Q. For example, if the P proposition is false and the Q proposition is true, we'll follow what's the conclusion, which is true. If P, then Q will be true. Then if the first proposition is true and the Q proposition is false, the implication of that will be false. And then if the first proposition is true, Q proposition is true, then if P, then Q will be true. So truth table of inverse, converse, and contrapositive of if P, then Q. So in inverse, if not P, then not Q, first one will be true. Then the second one will be false because this will be the inverse of this one will be true, then the inverse is false. So the conclusion will be false. And then the inverse of this is false. Inverse of Q, this one is true. So this will be true since the conclusion is true. Then even if you inverse this one, false, false, they're still both false, so that's still true. Converse, if Q, then P. So, mauuna yung Q. So, F pa din, pareho pa rin sila, it's still true. Then, ang magiging conclusion here will be false. That's why it's false. Then the third one, magiging conclusion is true, that's why it's true. Then the last one, they're both true, that's why it's true. Contrapositive, so the first one still be true because they're the same. Both will be both true. Then the second one, if not Q, then not P. This will be the conclusion, that's why it's true. Then the third one, if not Q, then not P. The conclusion will be false. That's why it's false. Then the last one, the conclusion, the contrapositive, if not Q, then not P will be true because they're both false. Both propositions are false, So let's have an example. Give the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the following implication. So we have the letter A. So what's the converse of letter A? Remember, converse will be If Q, then P. So this is the movie interesting. This will be P. Then I am watching it will be Q. So if we're going to make a converse, it will be if I am watching it, then the movie is interesting. Or this movie is interesting. Then for inverse, remember inverse is not P, then not Q. So the statement will be if this movie is not interesting, then I am not watching it. Then the contrapositive, this is not Q. If not Q, then not P. So the contrapositive of letter A will be if I am not watching it, then this movie is not interesting. Okay, so let's answer letter B. If P is a prime number, then it is odd. So this is proposition P, then this is Q. So let's make a converse. Q, if Q then P. If it is odd, then P is a prime number. Then we'll make inverse. Not P. If not P, then not Q. If P is not a prime number, then it is not odd. Okay, then last one, contrapositive. Not Q. If not Q, then not P. So, if it is not odd, then it is not a prime number. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so let's proceed to example 5. Identify three simple propositions in the statement below and label them P, Q, and R. Then express symbolically the statement using the logical operators not, and, or, if and then, if and only if. So we have the statement, a function f has an inverse if and only if f is 1 to 1 and on to. So first, we make our propositions. P. So, can use this one. A function f has an inverse. Then Q, F is 1 to 1. Then we have R, F is onto. Why we didn't write onto only? Because remember, proposition should be a declarative statement. Then now we'll be making we'll be expressing it symbolically. So this is P, Q, and R. So we have if and only if. So that's P, if and only if. Q, then we have this, and R. So this will be the symbolic form. Okay, so next we'll talk about quantifiers. Quantifiers are used to describe the variables in a statement. So there are two types. The first one, universal quantifier, is usually written in the English language as for all or for every. And it is denoted by the symbol, ito, baliktad na A. The existential quantifiers is expressed in words as there exists or for some. This quantifier is denoted by this one. It's baliktad na A, and it can be read as there exists or for some. So remember, we already talked about these symbols and meetings in Module 2 Part 1. So let's try to write as an English sentence and determine if it is true or false. So we have A and B. Okay, so the answer will be for A, for every real number x, there exists a real number y such that the sum of x and y is equal to 10. And this is true. Then how did we get this answer? So for every, so that's for every, then real number x, because since x is an element of all real numbers, so real number x, there exists yung baliktad na e, a real number y, this one, such that, because you're telling an example, the sum of x and y is equal to 10. Then for B, for every positive integer x, there exists a real number y such that the square of y is equal to x. So for every positive integer x, see this? The z plus is positive integers. There exists a real number y, and there exists a real number y such that the square of y is equal to x. And that's true. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. Thank you so much and goodbye.